I want us to look in verse number 20. We've seen verses 18 and 19, but notice now with me in verse number 20. In verse 20, notice what Jesus says in conclusion. He says, teaching them to observe all things whatsoever I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the world, or unto the end of the age. Now there's something here in the Greek that you don't see in the English. Because here Jesus uses what is called the ego eimi construction. And what that is, he uses a repetition of the personal pronoun. And what Jesus literally says here, he says, and lo, I, comma, I am with you always, even unto the end of the age. It's the Greek way of underlining. It is the Greek way of emphasizing something. Jesus is wanting us to be absolutely sure who he is talking about. He says, yes, I am with you always, even unto the end of the age. Well, who's the I he's talking about? He's talking about the one in verse 18. The one with all power, with all authority in both the physical and spiritual realm. Now, as you already know, that word power in the Greek usually is the word dunamis, where we get our word dynamite. We're most familiar with how it's used in Romans 1:16, where Paul says, for I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power, the dunamis, the dynamite of God unto salvation. But that's not the word Jesus uses in verse 18. Because the word he uses in verse 18 is the word exousia. Exousia. Well, you ask, what's the difference? What's the difference between dunamis and exousia? Well, dunamis has the idea of raw, unharnessed power. But the word exousia, while dunamis is raw and unharnessed, exousia is more focused and specific. It has the idea of power that has been placed in legitimate hands. Now, I like football. You like football? I like football. And one of the things I kind of like seeing at the beginning of these football games is they'll usually have the introduction of the players. And they have them come up on the TV screen there as they're doing those introductions. And these guys, as they come up, they give a little information about themselves. And you ever notice they're always posturing? You know, and they come up there and to the camera, Joe Smith, 7'8", 546 pounds. You're like, man, that dude is big. That dude will hurt you. Raw and unharnessed. Dunamis. But then you look on the field, and you see this little guy down there on the field. He's about 5'10", weighs about 170 pounds soaking wet. The only difference is he's wearing a black and white striped shirt. Now old Joe there, Joe can knock you down. But that fellow on the field with the black and white striped shirt, he can throw Joe out. You see, Joe has dunamis, but that other guy, he has exousia. Now here's the message, and I'm done. When we consider the population of our world today is in excess of 7 billion people, and that 9 out of 10 people are lost and outside of personal faith in Jesus Christ, and that 5 billion people are still waiting to hear the gospel for the very first time, and that 2.3 billion of those people are waiting to hear the name Jesus for the first time. Humanly speaking, the task before us seems very overwhelming and very daunting. But Matthew 28 and verse 18 gives us the why and the how of missions. Because Jesus is Lord, we must go to all nations.